To all of the women, yeah. Thank you so very much for being here today. Very special day. I want you to join hands now. Join hands. Yeah, hold hands with the person or persons next to you. Yeah. Hold on. Listen. 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 Now Ron Swish is going to lead us in prayer.
Lord, our mother and our father, who watches over us, and when we have gone astray, taxing our spirits, wasting our resources, distorting our values, you've cared about us in spite of everything we've done. And so we're thankful that you're faithful to us, that you care about us, that you love us. And we pray that we can come to ourselves and realize that your path of compassion and love and justice is the way. It's the truth. It's life. And we want to embrace that. Embrace this world with all of its graciousness and goodness and all of the people in the world. Teach us to do that, to follow the path that you've laid out for us, that we can truly be alive and full of joy and full of the goodness that you have for us all. Our prayers especially go out to our mothers today, grandmothers and stepmothers and foster mothers and all women who are mothers and who've nurtured us and cared for us and have gone the extra mile for us that we might have health and wholeness. Our prayers go out to mothers who've done their best, but they feel like they've failed and they've stumbled along the way. Give them help and support. Our prayers go out to the children. All of us are children, that we might cultivate an appreciation for mother's love and sacrifice. Our prayers go out to mothers who have lost loved ones, their children to death, or to drugs, or despair. Be with them. Let them know that you care about them. Uplift them. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Hallelujah. Right on. Shalom and salam.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let Now turn around and embrace your brothers and sisters. Embrace your people. You may be seated. Thank you. You know, it's amazing, but I see now that Mother's Day is like Christmas and Easter. People come 3 times a year now. Easter, Christmas, and Mother's Day. And those of you that just have that pattern, we want you to change it. All right? I'm taking a few moments because we're getting ready. The young people are going to sing. The children are going to sing. Oh, and the group has grown so. God, it's grown. Because we've got a lot of people, support from the adults who are helping with the children and the young people's singing group. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ron and Denny are the directors of the children's group. Jesus can come in, ain't no doubt about it. Don't need no key, just break that door down. Yeah. We got some more to do here. Just a minute, Glide Ensemble. They got to do a little skit here.
Happy Mother's Day. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to Jan on behalf of all the children. And happy Mother's Day to all the other mothers out there and my extended mothers who's helped me, all the strong women at Glide. My mother passed 3 years ago of AIDS, and she's always inspired me to go further for me. And I got into college, San Francisco State. And that's like my Happy Mother's Day to her. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and also Happy Mother's Day. When I first came down here from LA in November, I didn't know anyone except my family. I was sad because I had to leave all my friends in my school. The Glide Children's Center accepted me, and I became a part of the family. Now I have lots of friends, and I feel loved. I'm also getting A's and B's in school. And I would like to thank everyone at Glide and also Joyce because the Glide members helped me through. Thank you.
So many people, your support and your love and your concern, really, really very important. I was in Dallas for 2 days this weekend, spoke and heard music by other groups, but Lord knows I was so glad to get back here to hear the Glide Ensemble. The Glide Ensemble! Yeah.
But Lord, with you, yeah, sometimes I feel so unworthy. But I know with you I can make it. With the hands of Jesus, reach out and touch me. I've been praying, oh Lord, oh, I've been praying, just a few days ago, I was lost in despair. I began to look all around me, and it seemed like there was no hope, no hope, no hope. Could there ever be? Kept on praying, Lord, I've been praying, but Lord, I'm asking you to do for me, Jesus. I know you can do it, yeah. You have all power in heaven and earth in your hand. I know you can do it, yeah. Please touch my mind, my heart, my hand, oh yeah. My mind and my soul, Jesus. Touch me. I've been praying, Lord, that's what I told the Lord. be clean, Lord.
I'll be clean when you get
I know some black folks can shout, but to see some white folks shout, oh Lord, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're gonna let you digest that a little bit. Let it sink in. Really a moving song. That's what it's supposed to do, is move. Lift you up. You're not supposed to put you down, as somebody said. Take you on. Keep you going. No matter what you face, just keep you going. Oh, yeah. All right, let's go on now. Mother's Day, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Listen, I want to tell you something right now. I see some of you were here at 9 o'clock. Can't get enough.
They want a double dose.
Yeah. We'd like to invite you to join one of the fastest growing churches in America, Glide Church. We extend you an invitation to become a member of this extended family. This is a family. Now, if you've never had a family that's got diversity in it, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. There's no doubt about it. Everybody is here. Anything you want to call out, we got it here. So come on and be a part of it. We'd love to have you. When we finish today, you can go through that door, and the first door to your left, go there. And Charlotte and Joseph and Deborah and a lot of folks will be there to greet you, to welcome you, and to let you know how much and how proud, how much we need you and how proud we are to have you. Thank you for that. Also, I'd like to announce that on the 24th, the 2,000-year event committee will be meeting, and if you'd like to be a part of the planning for the next 2 years for the events that we will be having from Glide and other places, we invite you to participate. That's after the 11 o'clock on the 24th of May. Did I cover what I needed to cover? And who's coming out now? Zavita? Lavita. Come here, Lavita. You want to put this right here?
I'll hold it.
Okay.
Hi, Glide family. My name is Levita, and I'm a grateful recovering addict. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And I just want to say that I'm really proud to be a mother. When I found out that I was pregnant in an 18-month treatment program, I had purpose. And when I brought the little boy home from the hospital, I had no other choice but to stay clean, to reach out into my community and ask for help. And I am just so grateful to be here. And I just want to share with you what my son gave me for Mother's Day. And he made a pillow. And it says, Happy Mother's Day, I love you. And this is a rainbow. And this is the path to the rainbow. And when he explained that to me, I just got real grateful. Because I'm doing the right thing. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't clean. So thank you.
Thank you. And you make it happen because of your love and genuine concern. We're able constantly to have recovery here at this place. Who's having? Oh, that's right. Thank you. Dan says it's time for you to give your offering pitch. All right, I want you to take out your checkbooks and your folding money. We have bags that are passed around, and they're not good with change in them. So you have to put bills and checks and IOUs and things like that in it, all right? The ushers are going to begin to move among you, and at that time you make your contribution. If you will see on the back of the fans there is an envelope, and we hope that those of you that are passing through will put money in that envelope, because that envelope goes directly to help our food program and other programs. So please, please help us. Okay, the ushers are going to come forth and begin taking up the offering. Can you remember your name? Diane.
Good morning, Glide family, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, grandmothers, and people who nurture others. Happy Mother's Day. I was, thank you. I was asked to give a short thing before I read the announcements, make it short, to let you know what it's like to be a grandmother raising grandchildren. It makes you stop and think about the women who went before you, the ones that gave you your strength. And when you take a minute to go enjoy your Mother's Day dinner, think about your mothers, your grandmothers, their mothers, and all the women who let it be possible for you to be here today. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So take a minute to thank your female ancestors. And also, what it means to be a grandmother. Sometimes it's a lot of frustration, a lot of irritation. There's 6 little girls in my house, all under 9, so there's lots of frustration. There's also boundless energy, unspeakable joy, and lots of love. So that's what it means to be a grandmother raising grandchildren today. Before I read you the announcements, I'd like to remind you while the ushers pass the basket my offering pitch. These programs that you support help my grandchildren have a place to come where they can play and be safe. I'd like to thank the front line for everything they do. The minute my kids cross that line, I know they're happy and safe. Thanks to the children's program, I get respite. Thanks to the mentor program, the kids get things I can't do for them. Thank you, Glide family. And thank you, Cecil and Jan, for all your vision. Thank you for all you've done for the people in San Francisco. And there's a person here I've never thanked. This person knows who they are. Thank you for helping me look inside myself and find my own strength to come out of my shell and find myself. Thank you. The Glide Children's Choir's concert is Sunday, June 14th. Please show your love and your support and come. It's at 3 o'clock in the sanctuary. Breast cancer kills more women than almost anything else in this country. There's a breast health initiative, breast health workshop here at Glide on May 16th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in room 206. It's free. And it's from 12 to 4. And there's flyers in Freedom Hall. There's volunteers needed for this event. If you want to volunteer, please sign up today. If you're volunteering for the Mother's Day lunch, I have to read this. Come to the volunteer table in Freedom Hall to get your apron right after the celebration. The Glide Ensemble's tickets for a raffle go on sale today. There's 3 big prize packages. $5 a ticket, a book of 5 for $20. The raffle is May 31st. Proceeds go to Glide Community House. Tapes and CDs of the Glide Ensemble, audio and visual tapes of today's celebration, Glide t-shirts, sweatshirts, and books by Cecil, Jan, and the children are available in Freedom Hall after this celebration. All proceeds benefit Glide programs directly. We now have beautiful t-shirts, mugs, and caps with the Cecil Williams Glide Community House logo. Welcome to all visitors. Please go to the information table after the celebration in Freedom Hall. God bless you. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Diane. It's hot. It's a great day, great day. We've been so moved at the 9, and we come to the 11, and we're still being moved. And so great, so great, so great. We're going to sing another number, but before we do, I would like to make sure that you know that Janice Mirikitani, who is the executive director of all the programs, and also president of the corporation, is going to preach this morning. She preached at the 9 o'clock. And I asked her, would she please preach at the 11 o'clock? And she agreed to do it. So I want to thank you so much for preaching at the 11 o'clock. Come on, Glide Ensemble.
you, Emma Jean. Thank you, choir, and thank you, messengers, this morning, mothers, fathers, you, the community. Thank you for being here. Happy Mother's Day. You know, I've had a lot of anxieties about today. Oof. And when Cecil asked me to speak for the 11 o'clock, I just said, I don't think I can do this. This is, well, I mean, you know, it's a lot of stamina. I don't know how he does it twice every Sunday. How do you do this? It's a lot of energy. Ron, I mean, a lot. You know, I was talking to Joyce earlier this morning, and I don't know if you know this, but about half of the children in our programs do not have mothers, for whatever the reasons are. And I want to say that we need to get out of the shame and blame about that and say that we have to look to ourselves and rededicate ourselves to take the responsibility to continue to be the extended mother and father to these children. And I want to thank you for doing that. You know, I think a lot of my anxieties about Mother's Day, I mean, it's very complex, okay? My mother would get very upset when I forgot or was late in sending her a card or a gift, and I would resent her for making me feel guilty. Now, in my daughter's adulthood, I get very upset if my daughter forgets or is late with a Mother's Day card. And I tell her the reasons why, and she says, I make her feel very guilty. I think my response is so much more sophisticated than my mother's. I have all the right language, you know what I mean? But it boils down to the same thing. Don't forget me. Don't forget me. Now, how can we forget our mothers? How can we forget the stories they tell us as lessons for our lives? My mother told me the parable of a young girl in Fukushiki who was sold by her poor family to a wealthy man to be his servant. He was elderly and afraid the girl would run away, so he tied a rope around her waist and kept the other end tied to his arm. He beat her to keep her submissive and tugged at the rope constantly to keep her close. When the wealthy man died, his son, who prided himself on being a liberal master, kept the rope tied to the servant girl, but lengthened it so that she could have more movement. She was even able to go to the river, to the market by herself, still tied to a longer rope. But she was very sad, and she cried every day. The young man couldn't bear to hear her weeping, so he loosened her rope more and more. One day, she threw herself in the river, miles of loose rope floating on the surface. So I asked my mother, well, why didn't the girl cut the rope? My mother tells me to consider this. A woman is vulnerable. She could starve, encounter bandits, get raped or killed. Or worse, they would keep her and make her their sex slave. Or she could be homeless with no means to support herself. My mother, winding her thread, looks at me with a mother's sight, smiles her mother's smile. She knew, of course, that I would struggle with that parable for many years. I continue to work through many interpretations. I consider this version. The son who loosens the rope makes the young woman's slavery more comfortable. Only more comfortable. She becomes confused. She feels unloved and unwanted without the tautness, the certainty, the consistency of demands made by the conservative master. Ironically, she feels even more powerless, hopeless. She commits suicide. Or she resigns herself to her dependency, suppresses her dreams of happiness and love, and makes her emptiness tolerable. Not believing that she is worthy of a better life, she submerges herself in acquiescence. Or the third possibility, the young girl during her trips to the market secrets supplies for herself, hides them near the river. She swims out each day to build her endurance. She learns the art of karate to defend herself. She makes alliances with other women who will shelter her and help her escape. She cuts the rope and leaves for good. She immigrates to San Francisco and goes to college. She becomes a minister, a teacher, an astronaut. She is in recovery from battering relationships. She is a mother who loves her daughters and sons and encourages them to swim, to run, to rappel mountains, so they might breathe the air of freedom. Well, I question whether to tell you about this or to use this parable in my talk today, because as I was thinking about it, I found there were so many more possibilities, and certainly not are all worked out. I will be working on these for a lifetime. For example, in her journey to define herself, the woman realizes she does not have to give up who she is for the sake of a partner or for her children or for her parents. She discovers that she can learn to weave and braid her own loose strands of thread into the strong fabric of loving relationships. She has power over her life and chooses who to connect her strands with. In the past, when I was threatened with change or worried that I would be hurt or abandoned, I would sever my ties and run. Does this sound familiar to anyone else? I hope that I am growing to a place where independence now means being present, not isolated or separated, and that it is possible to be equal and intact in the face of challenge, in the presence of a very strong partner, in the chaos of a difficult job. To cut the rope of dependency and victimization for me means building my wholeness in a loving relationship and in community. I have lived with some of these scenarios of the parable, obviously. What I've also had to struggle with is the fact that I always thought that my mother braided my rope, and that the women in my family locked the links of the chain to dependency and addiction. I internalized that my survival depended upon the patriarchy, but I think I got that from the women who fought each other to get approval from their father, because he was the source of power. And my brother was here at 9 o'clock, and I talked about how difficult, I won't even go to what the double standard about sons did to me, because he's lucky to be alive as an adult. We have a really loving, beautiful relationship now, but and he's strong enough to have helped me work through the struggle about this. We continue. So I felt powerless and grew up mistrusting women, hating myself, and I got caught up in competitiveness and comparisons and territorialism. Sounds like a recovery class for me, anyway. Maybe some of you know what I mean. I've caught myself envying somebody else's hair or clothes or the way they look or, effortless slenderness. And don't you tell me that you've never said, girlfriend, did you see what she had on? And whose hair is that? Whose hair do you think that? This is mine. And if we're honest, we know that it's not just the women who do that either. Maureen Murdoch, in her book, The Heroine's Journey, says, many women feel no intrinsic value of their own. Their value comes in relationship to men and to children. We are brought up to buy into that myth that evaluates our skills and knowledge through the lens of deficit thinking. We listen to that internal critic, whoever that internal critic is, that says, try harder, do more, just do more. I have punished myself for most of my life for feeling inadequate. I engage in do more workaholism and commit the crime against myself of perfectionism all the time. Being perfect is impossible, so it is a setup for feeling that what I do is never enough. It also calls back the past, the victim, the competitiveness, the feelings of powerlessness, the need to control. Last week I was out in the hall, and a young man in our program, wonderful young man in the program, asked me, Jan, what do women really want? And being the adult and, you know, all of that, I said equality. Women want equality and respect. An adult man sitting there in earshot said, no, women want control. Okay, I tried not to get defensive. I didn't ask, you know, who wrote the book. I didn't go there. But what is really the truth here? And of course I have needed to control. I still need to control for a variety of reasons. But the truth for me is that the more I can trust, the less I need to control. Trust occurs. Trust occurs when there's true mutuality and respect between people. And the more I feel my self-worth, the more I embrace my power, the less I need to control. You know, Erica Jong's poem states, the best slave does not need to be beaten. She beats herself. For who can hate herself half so well as she hates herself? And who can match the finesse of her self-abuse? We as women, for ourselves especially, but especially also for our daughters, must unbraid the rope of our own self-bondage. We are responsible for writing our own ending. We are responsible for inventing ourselves, and in doing so, liberate the patriarchy too, because they need to be free. After all, the other end is tied to his arm, and sometimes it is not with his conscious awareness or participation. You know, I say, don't forget me to my daughter, but I also say, forgive me. Forgive me for all those years that I've had to battle acting out my victim slavehood. Forgive my critical voice and for my perpetuating the cycle of woman fear and guilt. And then I say, I forgive myself. I must forgive myself. I must reclaim my power from those who had abused and incested me and whom I have allowed to wrap me in a cocoon of rage. I am unwrapping myself into the arms of God. Who reveals the gift within the pain, and who teaches that whatever is presented in our lives, we can use them as blessings to become stronger and greater. I could not have said that 6 months ago. And I must release my mother from the chains of blame I have locked onto her. She has lived her life with all the fear and the hope and the love that women must to save their children. And I wrote this poem for today for my mother. Oh, mother, look what has been created. Out of the spools of your life, strands of rope tied to my sleeves, a string of warnings from your lips. Men abandon imperfect women, you say. Oh, mother, what with your small hands have you crafted? This embroidery of not enoughness. You worked hard mending lives, mending wounds from rejections and divorce. Pretty is not enough, you said. In the shadows of self-doubt, I believed perfection would stop the violence, the blame. I thought if I could do everything perfectly, you would love me. I made my discipline a ritual, counted stars, and earned straight A's. Smart is not enough, you say. Oh, mother, I have watched you as you save balls of twine rolled into an infinite lifeline. You reveal reluctantly your ends of string bound to the barbed wire fences of U.S. concentration camps that locked us up for Japanese ancestry. Being citizen was not enough, you say. You show me the knots of humiliation when my father left us, and your hunger for respect as a woman and love. Marriage vows are not enough, you say. You weave fibers of rebellion in my bones. This damaged body repairs in your light where silences vanish. You loosen the knots and I slowly unravel, cut, connect, bind, repair. Oh, look, mother, at these hands that are shaped like yours. This body that cannot remove the strands of you. This spirit rising up out of your smothered anger. I unravel tangled threads of unworth. I uncover your love, my love. I am a ferocious affirmation transformation, the stubborn root of a weed. I learned from you to reshape myself from imperfection, beautiful enough in all my contradictions. Look, Mother, how powerful is this mending? Thank you. I am learning in this journey, with the help of many of you women who have mothered me in this healing community, that forgiveness does not mean further loss of self. I had thought that if I forgave my abusers, I would have to lose the edge of my anger, my rage, my sense of creative vengeance. I had thought that forgiveness was an act of denial, that it meant having to sink into some milquetoast state of, oh, it wasn't so bad, or time heals all things, or wounds, he couldn't help himself, or your silence is golden, and good girls are silent. I am in my healing journey beginning to redefine the verb forgive as the act of giving back for myself, and being able to give more because I know better who I am. When we define ourselves, we can change the stereotypes that dehumanize and cause pain, especially to those of us who have felt second class or put down because of our gender or race or sexual orientation or class or lifestyle or age. I want to stand against a system of racism and sexism that dehumanizes other women, break that tradition of women competing and hurting each other. About 2 years ago, a woman came up to Cecil and me, this was in another state, and ignoring me, made inappropriate comments to him about his Love to Give Glide t-shirt. Now, you know how you can think of reams of things to say after something happens and makes you so mad. And you also know the familiar traps, the words you want to use to, you know, fall into that setup. Do you know what I mean? Well, I wrote a poem to her. To change the response, the definition of who I want to be. You bring out the B word in me. The B word. That bad woman in me, the bolt of lightning blazing tongue of me, the boiling ocean tsunami, the big braided muscled Pacific Islander of me, the B word, the boundless in me, the blissful healing of kukui leaves, the beloved hula of our arms, the bounty of our history, the blood of grandmother's hands in the soil, brave generations who endured demons of greed, who broke chains of servitude and poverty. You bring out the B word in me, a burning sunrise being in me. I will lift a bridge of beauty impossibly visible that span even to bigotry, and all will see the B in me. Be beautiful, brilliant, bold, be bad woman, standing beside her man or her woman with for real love to give. Paul Tillich states that we must accept ourselves fundamentally with a merciful, divine love toward ourselves. And then compassion and love can be genuinely lived with others and in community. I thank God for a husband, a minister who loves and reaches out to all the margins and the fringes of society and lets them know they are not forgotten. This man who has spiritually guided me through this journey, the shame of incest and self-destruction, and with unconditional acceptance, helps me release the chains of the past. I used to sing in the shower as a child. I'm using Fran Bartlett's line. And he tore down the curtain, gagged my child's mouth. I used to laugh at the table and he threw chopsticks at my eyes, told me girls should be seen, not heard, laughing with teeth too bucked and ugly. I would hum in the morning, and he threw me into dark closets. When I grew older, I thought men were loving, who stopped my singing in the shower as I soaped the bruises they had given me like a remembered gift, that it was evidence of affection when they halted my laughter, sealed my lips with blood and broken gums. But you called our names, Cecil, the name I had forgotten, the soul I had discarded. You came to me with songs of life, your open arms deep like a well, and from your joy I drank. All people were a choir, with throats open, liberating laughter and truth. I released the fingers of shame from my tongue. I rocked to our humming. I am writing in the kitchen, shouting in the closet. My husband laughs when I laugh. The sound is excellent as violins, and I, with all my teeth showing, am singing in the shower to this new day. I thank God. I thank God for you. I thank God for this community, this church that has been a spring and a river that feeds all the parched lands of myself, all the marginalized of this city, this choir that sings to all the people, to all the world. This congregation, you who are the beloved community, as Martin Luther King says, who seek justice for all, who, when you see how selfish our society can become, when certain groups insulate themselves, when the gap between the haves and the have-nots grow wider, when we see that there are 48% more millionaires in the Bay Area alone in 1 year, but nearly 50% of children, young children in America, a shocking half, live in poverty, this extended family has taken a stand. And you are those who, as Cecil said last Sunday, stand for justice. You stand for life. And I say thank you to him and to you who do not forget the hungry. You do not forget the children. You do not forget the mothers who survive mean streets, or the mothers who must bury their children in Sarajevo or Sudan or Bhopal or Nigeria from war and famine. You don't forget all of those who've been made invisible by bigotry or apathy. So I say to myself, don't forget to be grateful to our mothers. Thank you, my mother. I have learned much from your struggles, the strength of your endurance, the skill of survival, the fine art of guilt-making, the lifeline of your love. I thank you for the parables that teach me to break tradition, to write my own book, to create my own endings, to unravel the tangled threads of mistrust and shame. So I do not forget to say thank you for the loving arms you keep around me. Oh, look, Mother, how powerful is this mending?
Child is to be christened. Will you come up this time? Where are you? Here we are. Yeah. We didn't bring up the information about them, your names. What are your names?
My name's Ethan.
Khalil.
Jesus, I need your love and love to guide me. Keep your love and love to me.
This is Khalil. And I'm going to keep going, please. Don't stop now. Please.
Hold me, Jesus.
In fact, Khalil likes that. We bring this child into our fellowship with her parents and grandparents and godparents. We extend our loving arms to Khalil at this time. And so, Khalil, I'm going to christen you in the name of the Mother and Father, God, in the name of the fellowship of all of the community, and finally, in the name of the Spirit that moves us all to unconditional love. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Jesus, hold me tight and don't let me go, Lord. Now you be there for me, Jesus. I need you to guide me, Lord. Ain't nobody do me like Jesus. Ain't nobody do me like the Lord.
Humanity. And when we do, something happens. Change occurs. And the Spirit comes and is in our midst, is among us. Thank you, Janice Mirikitani, for bringing us to a new way of life this morning. So just keep your loving arms around each other until we see each other again. Amen.